Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. And today I am including in that all things media, pro wrestling and MMA once again. So if you guys check out the channel often, you might remember that on Wrestlemania weekend, I posted my complete pro wrestling DVD and Blu-ray and VHS collection. Well, since then, I realized there are a few things that I still needed to add, or some things that I had previously that I wanted to add back to the collection. So I've been hitting eBay for some pro wrestling DVDs. And then on top of that, I figured this would be a good time to share all of the UFC/MMA DVDs I've been picking up, because Lord knows I've grabbed quite a few because I was at some different disc replays over the past few months here, and they just had a bunch in their buy 3, get 3. Some of these actually might even be part of the buy 2, get 8, but I'm including them here as opposed to there just because they are a very niche audience. I know this video is not going to have a large audience, but you know, if you're watching still, hopefully you are one of those that's interested in this. And if you are, if you could give this video a like down below, that really does help me out. But with that said, let's not waste any more time at all. I have about 20 DVDs to share with you guys, and I'm probably going to go through them relatively quick this time around. So with that said, let's get to it. Let's dive right in to my pro wrestling/UFC DVD haul. Like I said, I'll probably go through these relatively quickly because I've not watched these cards yet from the UFC side, so I can't really say too much about them, but I'll start with the only non-UFC one here. And this is actually Elite XC, and the reason I grabbed this one is because it has Kimbo Slice, which I was a big Kimbo Slice fan. So sad when he passed away, much too young. But yeah, I really liked watching him. My buddy sent me like videos on YouTube of him before he made it into the pro ranks, and I was just so taken by him, and just wanted him to succeed. And he is a great fighter, and this one is called Street Certified, by the way. Yeah, so I'm just excited to check this one out. I've never seen anything from Elite XC, so I don't have any idea if this is going to be, you know, a good card or not, but hey, it's MMA, so I'm sure it's going to be enjoyable and just, you know, crazy because it's MMA. So the only non-UFC one I grabbed is Elite XC Street Certified with Kimbo Slice versus Tank Abbott, which I just noticed that on here. I love Tank Abbott as well from both WCW days and early early UFC cards. So yeah, awesome to have Tank Abbott on here as well. So all of the rest of the MMA DVDs are all UFC, so I figured I would go through them in numerical order. So first up is a classic. So I have seen this one. I've seen like the first dozen, maybe 13 cards when I had the streaming service for the UFC a while back, and they all kind of blur together, but I remember there's some things that I remember well, like the Royce Gracie Ken Shamrock fight that went stupidly long. It was just so boring because they were just sitting on top of each other the entire time. This is not that one, fortunately. This is UFC 4. So this one, if I'm not mistaken, is Dan Severn and Royce Gracie in the main event, I believe, which I'm a big Dan Severn fan. Go back to wrestling. Obviously, he was big in not big in WWE. That's why I first heard of him. But he's from Michigan, and so he's a local guy, and I've always liked him. And so, yeah, this was a good card from what I remember. It also has Steve Jenham in here, who, if we remember, Steve Jenham was like, he was a replacement. So if somebody gets injured, they have like replacements. And so he had fought no fights, but needed to replace, I think it was Gracie in number 2 or number 3. I don't remember which card it was. And ends up winning the one fight he did. And so he ended up becoming an Ultimate Fighter, which is just absurd. And so from there, they actually changed the rules so that the replacements also, or the alternates, whatever they're called, they have to have a fight early in the night. So kind of a dark match, if you will, before it goes live, before the pay-per-view went live. But anyway, the first handful of UFCs are just insanity because there's literally like no rules at all. It's ridiculous. But they're some of my favorites just because they're so insane. So yeah, UFC 4, always happy to find one of these old ones. And I have like, actually I think this might even be the oldest one I have in my collection. So yeah, I was excited when I found this one. So UFC 4 is the first one up here, and I need to take a drink real quick, but otherwise I think I'm just going to kind of breeze through the rest of these. This next one is an awesome set because I actually found this one on eBay, and I'm looking at it. It looks like it's a like UK release because it has this little restricted thing down here, but this is actually UFC, where is it? There it is. 31 to 37. So this contains all 6 of those cards, which is just awesome. So yeah, they actually have a number of these, and I'm considering buying another one that contains, I guess it's like the ones right before this or right after this. I can't remember, but it's like a handful I need. I think it's the ones right after this. But yeah, this is like $20 on eBay, so a really good price for 6 cards. Or what is this? 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 7 cards. Excuse my math. But yeah, so you have UFC 31, Locked and Loaded. 32, Showdown in the Meadowlands. 33, Victory in Vegas. 34, High Voltage. 35, Throwdown. 36, Worlds Collide. And 37, High Impact. So yeah, these early, like not early, but like between these, like the 20s up to card 100, they all have a very similar style to them, which will... Actually, I have higher ones in this video, but in the past I've shown those. They all have this very similar spine, and they are kind of just forgettable cards. I've watched some of them, and they're okay, but yeah, there's some gems in there, obviously, but nothing to write home about. And then this one I actually grabbed off of eBay as well. This is UFC 100. So I'm on the hunt to get all of Brock Lesnar's cards, and this was one of them that I needed. And I've heard that the 100th card is just a great card in general. On this one, Lesnar's fighting Frank Mir, and then George Saint Pierre is fighting Thiago Alves. So yeah, so some good some good fights on this one. So yeah, looking forward to checking this one out. And actually, I know I've seen one of these Brock Lesnar fights. It may have even been this one. I don't remember, like, live. I remember going to my uncle's house and watching it just because, being a wrestling fan, the fact that Brock Lesnar was fighting in the MMA or in the UFC was interesting to me. And then we have UFC 101 Declaration. I believe this was another one I grabbed off of eBay. And this one has BJ Penn versus Kenny Florian, Anderson Silva versus Forrest Griffin, who is just fantastic. So yeah, should be another really interesting card here. Looks like a fun one. And then another Saint Pierre, jumping up the numbers a little bit. This is UFC 129, Saint Pierre versus Shields. So this one is from April 30th, 2011 in Ontario, Canada. Yeah, George Saint Pierre versus Jake Shields. Jose Aldo versus Mark Hominick. Yeah, so another one. We'll see how that one is when I get around to it. Guess I'll go a little bit quicker through these. UFC 132. This one has Arija Faber versus Dominique Cruz. Why did I grab this one? I guess it was just one I needed. Tito Ortiz versus Ryan Bader. There's some that I grabbed for other specific reasons, which I'll talk about. But a lot of these were ones I grabbed from Disc Replay. And whatever card I didn't have, I would just pick up from Disc Replay because it was part of the buy 3, get 3. This one is UFC Rio, which I honestly forget the number on this one. But this is August 27, 2011 from, obviously, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. We have Anderson Silva versus Yushin Okami. And then Forrest Griffin is fighting Shogun Rua. So I really like Forrest Griffin, obviously from The Ultimate Fighter 1. That was like the only season I ever watched of that, but I loved it. And that's one I actually, hopefully in a future haul video, you will see that because I'm really looking for that one. I'd love to find it and watch through it again. And then we have UFC 136, and this is Edgar versus Maynard 3, 2 title fights. So Frankie Edgar versus Gray Maynard, Jose Aldo versus Kenny Florian. I'm just going to look through if there's any other names that kind of stand out. Stipe Miocic is in here as well. So yeah, we'll see if this one is any good. If you guys know if any of these cards are excellent, let me know. I can kind of prioritize them. It is in my head that I'd like to watch through them in order, but I'm missing a bunch, so I couldn't possibly do that. Here we have Dos Santos versus Mir in UFC 146. Yeah, Junior Dos Santos versus Frank Mir. Cain Velasquez versus Antonio Silva. So that should be a good one. We'll see how that is. And then we have Vanderlei Silva versus Rich Franklin 2 with UFC 147 from June 23rd, 2012. And this one's actually from Brazil. So it's interesting when they are like done outside of Vegas because so many of the early cards were just done. I guess they weren't done in Vegas. That's not true. They were done on the West Coast, though, like Denver or Colorado, I guess, Vegas, things like that. And then we have UFC 158. Again, George St. Pierre versus Nick Diaz on the back here. Yeah, so March 16th, 2013. This one is also from Canada. 2 more. UFC 159, Jones versus Sonnen. And this is April 27th out of Newark. Yeah, Michael Bisping versus Alan Belcher. And I don't recognize too many of the other names here, but yeah. And then the last one is another one. This one I grabbed specifically because I would love to have all of Ronda Rousey's cards in my collection. Unfortunately, she fought on later cards, and from my research, they really stopped doing DVD releases right around 180. I don't remember the specific number, but somewhere around 180. And this is one of the latest that I've actually been able to find at 170. And so for whatever reason, they just don't do them anymore. So the only way I'm going to be able to watch those now is by subscribing to UFC's Fight Pass. So I'll probably do that at some point. But in the meantime, I was able to find one of the Rousey fights. So this is where she's fighting Sarah McMahon. Then you have Daniel Cormier versus Patrick Kumis. So yeah, hopefully this will be a good one. We will see. But yeah, so that is the last UFC DVD I grabbed. And again, with Ronda Rousey, that's just awesome. I'm a big Ronda Rousey fan, so I figured that would be a cool one to have. And I grabbed that one from Second and Charles as opposed to Disc Replay. But yeah, so not much to say about those, but I just wanted to share with you guys what I picked up. So now let's jump over to the wrestling DVDs, which I have a lot more to talk about. I'm going to start with a TNA DVD because this is one I had in my collection previously. And then as I was getting rid of a bunch of DVDs years and years ago, I ended up selling it, but I wanted it back because I don't have enough TNA. This is The Best of the Bloodiest Brawls, and it's subtitled here Volume 1. Unfortunately, from my research, there was never another volume, which really stinks. But yeah, this is a really good one. I watched this one when I had it way back when and really enjoyed it. Like I've talked about in my collection video, my pro wrestling collection video, I love hardcore matches, death matches, anything like that. I'm just such a big fan of. And so this one is filled with them. Like there's Monster Brawl matches on here, Steel Cage, Full Metal Mayhem with Jeff Hardy versus Abyss. Abyss is on here a lot, along with Raven, which if you watch wrestling, that makes total sense to you. So yeah, it should be really cool to revisit this one. And I actually put it on the other day just to test to make sure it was going well. And it's fun. Like I love these matches. So yeah, really excited to add this one back into the collection. So TNA Best of the Bloodiest Brawls, again, volume 1, but it's the only volume of this one. So I mentioned in my wrestling collection video that I was collecting the cards that I'd actually been to, that I was present at, the pay-per-view cards. And that's when I got to thinking, I don't have all of them. What am I missing? And so then I went through and I realized I'm only missing 2 of them. So I set out to try to pick those up. And one of those I needed was Hell in a Cell 2017. And what's cool about this is that it's actually a double feature. It comes with No Mercy 2017 and Hell in a Cell 2017. So this was one that it was actually the very first event I went to at Little Caesars Arena, which if you are a local or just know hockey, the Detroit Red Wings play in Little Caesars Arena now, when they previously played at the Joe Louis Arena, one of my favorite stadiums of all time. And I went to a lot of different cards there, but this was the first time I was actually, the second time I was there because they had like a free preview that you could go to at the new stadium. And then Hell in a Cell was the first event I actually went to. So it holds a special place in my heart because of that. I was there with my buddies. We had a great time. And what's really interesting is for whatever reason, like I always had in my head, in my memory, that this was a red cell, but maybe it was white. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it was, because I'm looking at a screenshot on the back. I guess they changed it for that event, but I know they have the red cell sometimes too. But yeah, anyway, I'm again just going on for nothing here. But yeah, so this was one of the only 2 other ones I needed that I'd actually been to before. So Hell in a Cell 2017, along with No Mercy 2017, is now in the collection. These last 4 are actually all from one eBay lot. I needed one specific one, which is at the very end here, and it was a good price to get all 4 of them, so I said, why not? And this is one of those instances where I was actually kind of blown away by what I ended up receiving, because not only are these in really good shape, but I wasn't paying the closest attention to like everything else that was included, because the one I needed was there, and it was the edition of it that I wanted, and that's what really mattered to me. And so they took like a really good deal on this, and they're in great shape and just loaded. So I'll start here with Wrestlemania 26, and this is the 3-disc collector's edition, which I didn't realize that these were the collector's editions when I bought them, because they all are. This one opens sideways. Yeah, so we have you have the card, but then you also have a bunch of special features, including the entire Hall of Fame ceremony from that year. So it's just really cool, like just an awesome set here. I'm just going to open up this one. And yeah, you can see this is the Bret Hart versus Vince McMahon match, which was just terrible. But yeah, so this is really cool. Like, and again, the discs are in like perfect condition. So I was really blown away by this eBay buy. And honestly, that just doesn't happen that often. So when it does, it's memorable. So WrestleMania 26, and then WrestleMania 25, which they call the 25th anniversary, that's not how that works. But either way, it's the 25th anniversary here. Another 3-disc set, which is awesome. This one, again, has the Hall of Fame ceremony, as they all do. And then WrestleMania 24, you have Mayweather, right, versus Big Show, which is just fun. And then Edge versus Taker. Like, this is a really good one. And yeah, so this is great as well. Another 3-disc set that has the Hall of Fame ceremony. And then the whole reason I got this, and you'll probably understand where this is going if you're following the numbers here, but the last pay-per-view that I was at that I didn't have in my collection was the last WrestleMania to come to Detroit, WrestleMania 23. Of course, this is the infamous one that has Donald Trump versus Vince McMahon in a hair versus hair match, which was just absurd. But this tin is awesome. Like, I love this thing, and it's in surprisingly good shape. So I definitely wanted to add this one to the collection. So WrestleMania 23, this one was at Ford Field where the Lions play. My uncle and I went and just had a great time. Couldn't see much at all from where we were sitting, but fortunately there was a video screen above us. So that's pretty much where we watched this one. So yeah, very excited that I was able to find this one along with these other 3 WrestleMania, so 4 in total. Just an awesome haul. Thank you, eBay. So that is the last 4, and that is going to do it for this haul video. All right, so that is a whole lot of people beating each other up. Some fake, some real, but either way, it's fun to watch. So anyway, I know that this one is going to have a super limited audience, but if you're still here watching this, thank you so much. That really does mean a lot to me. And if you care to share, what are your opinions on these? Are you a big fan of any of these pay-per-view events I showed? Are any of these MMA fights ones that stand out to you as memorable? Let me know any and all of your thoughts down in the comments below. I really do appreciate it. But as always, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please give it a like down below. That engagement really does help me out. And like I always say, I don't just talk wrestling, I talk all things media, be it books, movies, video games, graphic novels, fighting, pro wrestling, I guess, as well. If it's media related, I'm interested in it. And if you are too, you might consider subscribing. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. And I want to encourage you to consume some media today, no matter what it is. It all works. I'll catch you guys next time.